Today I'm going to show you the concept that allowed me to take my game to the next level and become a professional golfer. You do not want to miss this. When you watch the best players in the world hit golf shots, you'll roughly see that their hands in the downswing will work on a diagonal back towards the ball. Now here's the thing, a lot of amateurs then take that concept and they go, okay, in the downswing I need to get my hands working back to the ball. So what do? They do a lot of pump rehearsals where they set up to the ball and they go, okay, hands towards the ball, hands towards the ball. Then they finally hit a shot and what do you see? That club goes over the top and they end up hitting the ball really badly. So in today's video, I'm going to show you actually what happens and what creates that illusion of the hands working diagonally and how you can implement it into your game. It is guaranteed to help you improve your ball striking pretty much instantaneously. What we have to understand is two keys. Number one, what do the hands and arms control in the golf swing? And number two, what does the body turn and rotation control in the golf swing? So the first one, what do the hands and arms control? Well, in their most simple basic form, the hands and arms control the up and down part of our golf swing. So they help us get elevation to the arms. They help the up and down part. That then means rotation controls how deep the hands get, how far behind as the hands move. A great example of this is look at Brooks Koepka versus Rory McIlroy. Brooks doesn't turn as much as Rory, so at the top of his backswing you will see Brooks have his hands more sort of over the middle part of his trail foot. Versus with Rory, he gets more rotation, which is part of the reason why his hands get a lot deeper at the top of the backswing. So with that understanding, it's important that we don't get them crossed over. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I see a lot of golfers, not only with their hands and arms that they control the up and down, but they also then start to move them across their body as they're doing this. This is exactly what happens and where players get in trouble when they try and copy this hands moving towards the ball. Because now what they're doing is they are forcefully moving their hands towards the ball. Not only are they working them down, but they're also working them away from the body. But remember, the hands aren't supposed to control the away from the body part. That is the rotation that controls that. So if I do this motion with my hands and arms, but then I turn, you can now see the club gets thrown outside. This can cause over the top motions, slices, and the dreaded word shank. With that in mind, what are we trying to feel in the downswing? Well, in order to understand this, we've got to isolate the two motions. So if I go to the top of my swing and I just pause and I don't turn my body, my hands would work straight down towards my trail foot and my right arm would work wider. You can see my body hasn't turned because remember, body controls the in and out motion this way, the hands control the up and down. So if I don't turn, my hands would work straight towards my right foot and my trail arm would get wider. As I do that, you can see the club is now what we class as very much under plane. It's very much behind me in this position. But again, we're expecting that because we haven't turned yet. We're not turning at this point. We're just isolating the hands and arm. When people steepen it, it's because they get narrower when they pull in. You can see if I pull my arm straight down and I get narrower, this right elbow now gets hiked behind me, that's going to steepen the shaft. As long as you go to the top and as you pull down, your right arm is working wider, you are going to shallow the club. Now we have tested this biomechanically and the best players in the world from the top of their backswing, their trail arm will get wider all the way down to impact. I see so many golfers, they try and hold this angle for as long as possible and it kills their golf swing. So please, please, please do not be that golfer where you're really trying to hold this right arm in, you're trying to tuck it into your body, because if you are killing your golf swing and you are going to really, really struggle unless you have a lot of right bend to get down. Now, if I take that same motion of me going to the top and then this hand's working straight down towards my right foot and the right arm working wider, and then I just apply a little bit of weight shift and rotation, you can now see how I'm in a great impact position. Now that same feeling that I just demonstrated is a feeling that Justin Rose uses. And if you don't believe me, then go search it, Justin Rose downswing feeling. You will find loads of videos of Justin talking about this. And he understands this concept. It's part of the reason why he's such a good ball striker is that from the top of the backswing, you know, the hands and arms are supposed to work straight down. The body controls the hands moving out and towards the golf ball. It's not the hands and arms that are purposely moving there that controls that motion. So what we're going to do today is we're going to run through some drills that are going to help you piece this all together. We're going to focus on some drills that are going to help you just with the arms and some drills that are going to help you with the body rotation. So the first piece that we're going to focus on is the hands and arms working straight up and down, and specifically in the downswing. We're not worried about the backswing for right now. We're focusing on the downswing. And this drill you are going to see a lot of players do. Rory is a big advocate for this drill, and it's the split hands pump drill. So how do we set this up? Well, if you get into your setup right here, grip the club normally with your left hand, and then from there, bring the shaft so it's sort of matching your toe line. Grip the right hand so the palm is pointing away from you, and it's roughly the same space apart as your thighs are right there. Now, if I turn to this down line view, you can see the toes pointing straight up to the sky, and ultimately this is matching my toe line. Now, if I go to the top, from here, what I want to be feeling is I pull my hands straight down, and you can see my right arm as I'm doing this is not staying super tucked in here. I'm in this position, I'm to the top, and I'm straight down there. And you can see as I do this, I can actually put quite a bit of force into it to where the club starts to jiggle. Now this is a great drill because again, we're isolating the arms. We're not worried about turning. We're just here, we're going to the top and bang, straight down. If you go to the top of your backswing and just go, okay, I'm gonna go wider and straight down towards my right foot. That is a great feeling for you then to replicate. And you can see my right arm is wider in that position. But remember, when we do start to talk about turning, when we do this sensation, we are gonna see our body collect that club and bring it back on plane. Now, one of the things just to be aware of is a pitfall that I see when people do the split hand pump drill. So as you can see, when I set up to this, I've created some right angles. I've got a right angle between my right arm and the club and a right angle between my left arm and the club. The one thing I don't want you to do is throw these angles out, because now you're going to see that's going to bend my left arm, and ultimately from here it's throwing out the club, and this is not going to be a great way to rehearse this motion. So we want to make sure as we're doing this, we're keeping that right angle the whole time. No throwing this out, and go slow to start with. If this feels super alien, go to the top and go, okay, body's going to do nothing. I'm just going to pull straight down to there. So now it's time to work on the rotation side. Now, what does rotation control again? It controls depth. My favorite drill just to map this out is to grab a club and pop it across your shoulders. So the grip of the club is pointing behind you here. Now this is going to be our laser pointer. So what we're going to do is turn to the top of the backswing here. As we start down, we're going to shift to our left side, and then we're going to turn through and try and get this laser pointing at or just outside the golf ball. If you are somebody who swings over the top, you will see this motion here where you turn to the top and then you'll go outside. So now you can see this laser is pointing way too flat, way too far outside the golf ball. And if you're somebody who hooks the ball and you don't get enough turn on the way down, you're going to see this sort of motion here to where you secondary tilt loads and actually the laser is pointing behind you. So again, if you struggle with this, just take it super slow to start with. We're going to the top of the backswing. We're shifting to the left side now. We're turning that right shoulder, and it very much feels like I'm hitting the ball with that right shoulder right there, and I've got a good amount of tilt. Once you've done that a couple times, then from there, grab the club, go super slow to start with. To the top, shift it down, turn the right shoulder to the ball right there. That's going to make sure that you get the right amount of shoulder turn on the way down, but also you get it on the right tilts. Now, when it comes to blending the two together, I love the way Justin Rose did it in his video. What he was doing was he was going to the top of his swing, isolating the hands and arms first so the body wouldn't do anything. The arms would just drop down towards his right foot to where sort of the shaft was parallel to the ground, and then he would just turn through, and he would be chipping those out no more than sort of 20 to 30 yards. And again, the reason why this is so great is because we are isolating these movements, and this is what we have to do. We have to give our brain time to learn this motion. So if I quickly show you an example of this, what I would do is I would go to the top of my swing, arms would work straight down, and remember the right arm has gone wider. Then from there, I'm just going to do a little turn and through, and you can see that has produced a nice sort of little tiny draw right there. But again, it went no further than say 50 yards. It was a nice small motion, and I'm just piece by piece learning this. Now, once you've done that a couple times, then you can start to go in a little bit more of a fluid fashion. Again, you're feeling like the hands and arms are working straight down to your right foot, and your body is just collecting the club. As you get more and more confident, you can then build it up and up and up until we're close to hitting some full shots. Now, as you work through these, you can then sort of specify it to what your tendencies are. If you are a player who tends to sort of hook the ball more, then maybe you need to do a couple more of these drills to where you feel like you get that right shoulder working through, because chances are you just aren't turning enough in the downswing. If you see your arms really get down into this position, you see everything go very much under the plane, then you need to work a little bit more on rotation. If you are the player though who gets super narrow and super close in the transition to where the shaft steepens, then you need to do some of those split hand pump drills to where you feel that club go nice and wide and work more down towards that right foot. You need to pay more attention to how your right arm is working. Now, overall, you might be that player that also is swinging over the top, in which case, again, you need to pay more attention to how those hands and arms are working. You're feeling, if you're that player that swings massively over the top, is the chest is going to do a little bit less, and you're going to focus on feeling like you can isolate those hands and arms, get them working straight down. So imagine there's a line going straight down, you're going to feel that. So if you are that player, you're going to go to the top, feel like your hands and arms work straight down, you're going to see the club shallow out a lot more, and ultimately you're going to see some better shots. Let me give it a go for you here. So this is the crucial concept that you need to understand. The hands and arms control the up and down, and the body controls the rotation. If you've enjoyed today's video, then please like and subscribe. I'll be posting a lot more videos like this in the near future. I hope to see you back here soon.